Hello,
Hello,
I'm Ray,
and I'm Dee.
and we're Herpetology. Of course.
I'm Ray, and that's Dee.
Yeah.
And we are Herpeta. Okay, Herpetology of the Apocalypse.
A Homestuck commentary.
After months of not getting it right.
You have won this round.
I have.
How do you want to start things? Do you have anything you want to talk about first?
Not overall. I have lots of stuff to talk about at the end, though.
Mm.
Do you have anything you want to talk about, like before we get started?
Oh, I did not find any Sims houses or anything, which is a shame. Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably just will be like, I kidnap you for a Sims event or something.
Or something. Like we build one out of popsicle sticks and small pieces of printer paper with like Mac and Me goes here or something like that.
Making a diorama of John's bedroom.
No. John's bedroom is fine. It's the problem sleuth things that we need to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to be way too complicated for popsicle sticks, I think.
Probably.
Or Legos.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, The Sims.
All right.
Right.
Okay. Maybe that's what we should do is ask my friend who does Sim stuff if she'll consider it. We'd have to like give her all of the materials though, and I don't know that we're ready.
We're definitely not ready. I'm sure there's going to be shenanigans. We'll be like, oh God, what were we doing in the first place? Who knows?
Anyways,
past that, no, not really.
Okay. Let's get into it.
I think my first thing is on 2138. You?
I guess we should note that we're off of Problem Sleuth this week. We are on Homestuck.
Yes.
And we're covering the end of Act 1 and the beginning of Act 2.
Yes.
All right. So I'm on 2134.
No.
Oh, actually, that was just my note saying where I started. Let me see. I think 2139 is where I started going nuts with the notes. Otherwise, I was just writing down what happened.
It is my turn then.
Yes.
So, the book spine that it's originally the zoological book and stuff, but the spine is wrong, or at least not the same thing as the cover. It just says Grimoire on the spine. So I was like, ha! But also I was like, well, now I have to look up grimoires and stuff. And I've discovered that they're not necessarily evil in the first place. They're just basically magic textbooks and stuff, which I mostly just thought of them as evil because you see like evil wizards with them and they've got the name Grim in them and stuff. And yeah. But they have like, hey, here's how to make amulets, talismans, perform spells and rituals, invoke and summon supernatural beings like angels. And I was like, angels? All right.
Just because you summon something that's not evil doesn't mean the act of summoning something isn't itself evil.
Oh.
Just a note from a misspent Catholic youth. Okay.
That does make me think of like an evil little girl summoning fairies or something to do. Like, I summon these tiny little fairies to do my evil bidding, and they're like, wee! Would you like some flowers?
I was like, oh, let's summon an angel who is like the power of mercy. Shunk. Suddenly, all of the mercy goes out of the rest of the world. 5 minutes is up. You can go now. What did you want me for? I just wanted you to not be somewhere else.
Oh God. One, awesome. Two, that does remind me of it's Overlord, the anime Overlord that has occasional angels and stuff as like enemies to fight.
Spoilers.
It's like a few episodes in, man. It's not even that deep in.
I know, but we've watched like 2-3 episodes as well. Anyway, there's angels. Thanks a lot.
I'm so sorry.
Spoiling me on how old is this? No.
And how long has it been since we decided to watch it?
Shut
up. Yeah. But we can continue watching Jujutsu Kaisen. It's fine.
No. Okay, so the plan tonight is we're going to finish watching Hostile Dimensions. I have to look in the distance because if I look at anything, I'll forget what the name of it is. It's like this movie, which has creeped us out repeatedly. It's not that horrific. It's just, it pushes the button on suspense just exactly the right way.
We're like, oh!
It's a low budget movie too, which makes it even better / worse. The thing about that movie is that it's hard to describe to anyone else because as soon as you're like the name, and it's like one of those anti-memetics things that tries to erase itself out of your brain.
Yeah.
The words Hostile Dimensions.
Yeah. It vaguely reminds me of if you've ever played Roblox, there's a game, not you specifically, people watching this,
right?
Have played a Roblox game called Elevators. It's kind of like that. There's a here's a door, it opens up, and you go inside, and there's a whole new dimension in there. Occasionally it might be good, but usually it's not necessarily good, kind of thing. Spooky things, but now a movie. It's not an elevator in the movie, though. It's an actual door. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, in Hostile Dimensions, it's an actual door.
Yeah.
Also, they're making a Backrooms movie, and I'm still just like, okay.
We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how that goes. All right. Are you done?
Oh, no, I am not. Sorry. So sorry. I have a lot to talk about. So there's also a TV show called Just Add Magic, which it's a kids TV show thing. Basically, it's one of those, hey, let's cook a recipe out of this cookbook. And it turns out it like reverses time or something like that, magic stuff. And I was like, that probably counts as a grimoire too. Just
a recipe grimoire?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
But that led me on to looking up, hey, can I make my own grimoire kind of thing? Is there people making out there making their own grimoires and stuff? And yes, there are. There's both in the way of he, this is just for my own fun, for like solo player tabletop RPG stuff. Like there's a few in the Itch.io bundle I'd recently gotten, and I was like, oh, hey, neat. But
what's the name of the Itch.io bundle?
Something about stopping ice. I can't remember what it is exactly right now. I'll put that in the link, I guess.
Yeah, because it sounded like something worth supporting, and people might be interested.
Ice in description. Okay. Anyways, gonna put that in the description later. But there's also people who are doing it more purposefully. It reminded me of a lot of the witchy stuff you've done before. Some of it being like, hey, here, find some old gods that you're gonna think about and stuff. But also things are like, yeah, here's just some cool small spells for like cleaning your house and that kind of stuff. And I was like, this feels a lot like a journal, or scrapbooking journal, but very witchy focused, I guess.
The grimoires that are like that are very personal, are often called books of shadow.
Oh, I'm going to mention that too.
Okay.
Yeah. The person I was looking at this with, the one who was doing the purposeful stuff, was like, the grimoires and Book of Shadows are kind of used interchangeably, but the Book of Shadows are used by Wiccans as semi-religious books with magic rituals and stuff in them. There's like one per coven. You can add your own how they go and stuff on that. But I was like, oh wait, I think I've heard of this being used in Supernatural, and I was right. Specifically, the Book of Shadows.
All roads lead to Supernatural.
All roads lead to Supernatural. All roads lead to Homestuck. Now here they are combining together. Yay! I mean, they already did back in the Tumblr ages, but
right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was just used by covens and stuff to be like, here is the evil book that they must be destroyed, that kind of thing.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
In general, was looking to see if real Wiccans were upset over that or something, and that they're just kind of ambivalent about the whole thing.
They're like, it's supernatural. How upset can you be?
Yeah, both about that and in general Wiccan stuff used from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see anything that seemed to be them just generally be really angry about something specific. So I was like, all right, these are pretty cool people, as you do.
As you do.
Yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to add about the Book of Shadows or otherwise?
I've never seen it used for a coven as such. It's always just like, I'm writing down the stuff that I was doing with, like, here's what I was doing with magical practice. Here are my observations afterward. It's more like a scientist notebook, but for magic, which is weird to say, but I mean, that's how you use it. Like, hypothesis, experiment, result. Okay, I did this 20 times and it worked better than 50%. That's what I got.
Neat.
Yep.
Sorry, that's reminding me of something else that does not have to do with what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
So I will talk about that with you specifically later.
All right.
My final thing on that is Rose also has a swirly knee here. Just lollipop knee on here. Went hee 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 hee. All right, yours.
Okay. My first one is 2139. Are we there yet? I think we're on 8. No? Yes. No.
It's your turn now.
Okay. I thought it was interesting that Rose could access the unsecure Wi-Fi from the creepy laboratory earlier. I thought it was further away than that, but perhaps not. Also, there's a storm out, which is usually interfering. The unsecured Wi-Fi is SN underscore lab 0413. Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a 9687 and 1802 and 5565, and those are secured. I was like, should I look them up? Probably not. So, like, if I take the Homestuck numbers and I plug those in there, no.
What will I get from here?
No.
Shenanigans.
On the bottom bar of Rose's laptop, there is a row with a blank-faced white icon, which is the MS Paint logo.
That one had, like, I think, squared on it, but like very light grays on it. Yeah.
I don't know. I just was like, what is that? It looks familiar. I wonder why. And I actually looked at the MS Paint logo. It's not actually the logo. It's supposed to represent the reader, the people who are actually trying to play the games. So to me, I went, this means that MS Paint Adventures, at least, exists inside of Homestuck. And from there, we get into the recursive territory, where inside of Homestuck is the thing that Homestuck is hosted on. Inside of the thing that Homestuck is hosted on is presumably Homestuck, which also has this page, which has so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's Homestuck all the way down. Also on the browser bar is an icon that looks sort of like Typheus, which is John's web browser, but it's not really. So I ran into a name for it later on, Cetus. Greek mythology, a sea serpent, not a specific one per se. It's just one of a class of sea serpents that are kind of dragon looking. Whenever you see a sea serpent and the tail curls over on itself, that's a Cetus.
Yeah. Like on maps and such.
Like a tentacle. This way there be monsters, Cetus. The monster slain by Perseus while rescuing Andromeda from the rock is a Cetus. In pre-Roman Etruscan mythology, the Cetuses were seen as psychopomps that carry the souls back and forth from the land of the dead. They may be related to whales. Oh. So the biological name for whales comes from Cetus. I forget what it is, cetacean or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they may also be related to Leviathan. And Cetuses would be, Cetai would be Greek, right? Mm-hmm. Leviathan would be ancient Hebrew.
Oh, okay.
So 2 different cultures, but kind of related. Giant sea serpent that is the embodiment of chaos and violent overthrow. Now, back to Gnostics. In Gnostic religions, the Leviathan is the thing that surrounds the world like a sphere, and it incorporates and or absorbs the souls or those who are too attached to material things.
Okay.
Okay. Which I think is an interesting, like, ugh, that's kind of weird and gross. And there's also an example of Hobbes' Leviathan, which is the state. So like a nation state, you can have a monarchist state, you can have a nation state, you can have a princedom state, stuff like that.
So like a location state, basically.
No, a state. Okay, so United States, we have a bunch of states, and then we have the federal government. A federation is when states get together.
Oh,
that's just all it means. So a state government, is a government that controls land and people and represents them as if it were exactly identical to the thing it represents. So like the state is the people, the state is the land. So if you go like the state of Colorado, that means all the people, all the land interchangeably. You can say the people of Colorado and the state of Colorado. And now, in reality, it doesn't actually work like that because representational government is severely on the decline. But the state still has power over the things it represents. Hobbes' Leviathan is where you get the picture of there's a dude and he's got like a crown and a mustache and a sword. And he's like this, and he's made up of all these tiny little bodies. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I don't think I have. I mean, I can think of a guy like that, but I don't think it's just imaginary guy and not whatever you're actually talking about.
Okay, no, this is a sketch. It's like a black and white sketch.
Neat.
That somebody made. That's something. Would you note that down? I need to track that down for you.
Yeah.
The idea of Hobbes's Leviathan probably will show up in here somewhere, not because of the cetus necessarily, but I'm like, it's really hard to talk about inventing anything on a cosmological level without touching on the same concept. Okay. Also on the bar on her laptop is a Pestrogem icon, a document icon with a P that I wasn't able to track down, the Esper logo, and a SkyNet logo.
I'm pretty sure the P one is just like our Word doc kind of thing.
Right, but it says P on there. Maybe it just means maybe it's not really a P, maybe it's a paragraph mark or something. Yeah. I don't know. She's got a window of GameFAQs open and she closes it. The background picture is of a woman with a parasol and the lower body of a cetacean. And it's by Ray Caesar. The picture is called Stay, XXI for 21. Ray Caesar is a Canadian artist. He spent 17 years at a Toronto hospital for kids doing art therapy program stuff. Also photography to document child abuse, reconstructive surgery, and the equipment they had to use to help the kids rehabilitate. He also got a Primetime Emmy for work on a Canadian series called Total Recall 2070 as part of the art department. It's based on the Philip K. Dick story that was Total Recall, which was, I think, We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. And it comes after the TV show, but it comes after the first movie with Arnold, but it comes before the movie, the newer movie. So it's somewhere in between there. I watched a little bit of it. It's cool, but kind of cheesy. So you're like, yeah, all right, about good for that. All right, then that's all I had for 2139.
My next thing is 2146.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Trying to think if there's anything. The 2145 blue tree appears with a blue apple.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I completely forgot to note that down in my thing. Yes, that was something me and Dia had been talking about, like on the long car trip.
that got this whole thing started.
Yeah. Just was like, oh yes, haha, we finally found the thing. And I couldn't remember exactly like what we had specifically said about the whole thing, and I didn't want to look it up in my notes because I didn't want to spoil myself. To see if you wanted to say anything specific on that.
I couldn't find anything with blue.
Nothing with blue.
Nothing with blue specifically. We have apples of mythology, Christianity, Adam and Eve, knowledge of good and evil, biting into the apple. Suddenly, there's a fall from innocence. Greek, which is probably more relevant here, the Garden of Hesperides, which we've discussed before, where the golden apples grow. Then it has one of the guards is Ladon, one of the monsters birthed by Typhoeus and Echnida, and he's the guard. So I'm like, that ties back around neatly. That's probably where that is. And it gives long life. There's Norse, too. One of the goddesses called Idun carries around a box of golden apples that restore the gods to youth. They keep having to eat these things, though. So if they don't eat them, they start aging all of a sudden. Woo!
Like the Rapunzel, oh, I'm not being healed by the magic hair. Flip. Oh no! In the movie and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I never watched it.
Oh,
so
right. I thought I stole you for that.
Nope.
But nope.
Arthurian mythology. Avalon is the Isle of Apples, and it's where Excalibur was made and where Morgan Le Fay retreated to work her magic. Okay.
Oh, for the blue thing, I want to note that later when Rose recycles the build grist, it shows up as blue. Specifically, it comes out with weird little particles and stuff as she recycles it, and they become blue. And there's also like the actual grist of like, hey, this is how much resources you have. That's blue. But I'm like,
okay. Yeah. So this is one of those, like, I was like, what will fill in all those blank spaces? So there's green grist and now there's blue grist.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. It's just one of the resources things, I think, for that specifically. But I'm just like, I don't know if it'll come up later as some kind of, hey, this is part of the universe or something like that. I'm just like, well, here's connection of blue and stuff since you said you didn't have anything yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on 20. I couldn't find the name of the song that's in 2145. Mm. And it's in 2146 too, so I'm like, Ray probably knows what this is.
2146. It's called Suburban Countdown. It's by Mark Hadley. Woo! Hi again, Mark Hadley.
I Suburban Countdown. I'm like, all of a sudden, da 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 da.
John going ham on the piano in the background, like the Phantom of the Opera, but John.
No, that's different. That's da 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 da.
I know, but it would be the same movement for him either way. Okay. He would go ham that way too.
That would be a fun animation to have. You could play almost anything on it. Final Countdown. I forget who sings it. Shoot. But they did a commercial. I'm pretty sure you saw it, where like they're going like, there's a guy and he's in the break room and he puts his burrito in the microwave and starts it, and all of a sudden it's da-da-da-da. And the band is off on the side playing the final countdown.
Coming
his
out
burrito
of the
gets warm enough, and he's like, beep.
Yes, I remember that one.
Okay,
I guess I'll put that in the description too. Final countdown burrito advertisement. Hey, I do have more to say on 2146, so give me a sec.
Okay. Well, I do too, so I'm going to do it while you're
okay.
2146, end of Act 1. There's 30 seconds until the meteor strikes. John is supposed to take a bite of the apple. John moves in slow motion. So we kind of flash through a bunch of different minor elements. We look at some of John's posters. We look at John's dad making cake with a question mark beside him. We see Nana's ashes. We see the fire burning underneath the ashes. We see Slimer, and finally John lit up a meteor. Then boom. This will be something to talk about later. But
yeah, the poster had been previously slammed by a cake and now is dripping with white things off of it. But anyways, not what I was supposed to be talking about. So we're looking at the suburban area and stuff overhead of Homestuck, and it reminded me of when we were talking theories on Severance. We had been looking at an overview of their suburbs, the office buildings, etc., and stuff. I won't go into our theories because A, we're not done with Severance, and B, if you haven't watched Severance, you shouldn't be hearing those theories, anyways.
Correct.
Anyways, so we were looking at the those ones and had come up with things. But I was looking at these suburbs and I was wondering if the suburbs were even remotely like a circuit board or a motherboard or anything. And I couldn't find anything on that. But I do think that the suburbs are laid out really weird, like procedurally generated, maybe. Not actually like he randomly procedurally generated, but made to look like it was procedurally generated because there are sidewalks that are completely random, unconnected to anything, just lines, and stuff,
okay.
little roundabout things. Just and all of the houses are in fact copy and pasted and stuff, just rotated. And I was like, oh. I'm pretty sure John's house is the only one that's been changed at all in this situation. Like, there's not even any of them that look like they have things in front of their houses or anything. There's not anything I'm like, these are all houses. There are no stores or any other type of building. There's not even any other color of building here. It's nothing. It's just fake. It's a building set or place set. Yeah. Which, I mean, goes back into the whole this is a game in a game in a game kind of thing. But I just was like, okay, kind of thing. Interesting to see it so obvious, I guess.
I guess I did not look that closely at it. So now I'm like, oh, but I think there were a couple of places that had that outdoor balcony thing on the house. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. They are part of the copy and pasted ones.
Oh, okay.
Yes. The ones that don't have that are just rotated. Like I said, it's the same house over and over and over, just rotated.
Which, fair.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to add something back on Severance.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the people who wrote Severance, not directed it, but wrote it, took part of their inspiration from the Backrooms.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Anyway,
that was something. Yeah.
Total side note conversation. Let's see.
Oh, wait, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
The whole atomic bomb mushroom cloud, pshoo, and yes, my thumb here, and I'm totally safe because it's blocking it out. That isn't necessarily true because there's a whole bunch of other hazards that come, and not just the whole radiation blast and stuff, like the whole environmental stuff of like, here, get some dust cloud and all that kind of stuff. And I was looking at it. The person or the site I was looking at had a map of, hey, here's what happens if you drop the bomb in your specific location. And I was like, I'm not messing with that right now, thank you. But it reminded me a lot of how the whole dinosaurs and asteroids thing, pachoo, and then the whole dust cloud in the air, and that's probably how the dinosaurs went extinct. And yeah, no?
It's worse than that. Yeah. I don't know if you want to keep rambling on it or you want to hear the horrible thing.
Okay, I'm gonna finish the thought, then I'll hear your side. But my oversimplification, apparently. But whole extinction version that way and stuff, and I was like, we've got a whole bunch more asteroids coming in here for Homestuck, and blotting out the sun is probably the least of their problems, but there's no surviving humanity here at this point. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, yours.
So there are some recent paleontological discoveries. I think they're recent, saying that during at least one of the wipeouts of the dinosaurs, which they think was due to a meteor or an asteroid. I don't know. Anyway, rock from sky. They're finding a consistent layer of glass.
Oh.
Like the entire Earth. It wasn't just like around the meteor. The entire Earth at that time period was kind of covered with a thin layer of glass. And then 2000, they were like, you know what's really cool? It only took 2,000 years for like life to start reappearing out on the surface. 2,000 years. Okay, so it's not just like meteor hits, boom, 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 everybody like falls down and like, oh, what was that? No, like the sun gets blocked out, you get covered with glass, and the
probably breathing it in at the same time.
Atmosphere, too. Yes, that was actually part of the thing. They were like, here are some things that we know were alive during that because they have the fossils show that they have glass inside of their lungs.
Oh.
How exciting! But anyway, it's going to take quite a bit longer to recover from that sort of meteor shower than maybe we think.
Dinosaur glass.
Dinosaur extinction class
article. I'm going to have to get that from you.
Okay.
And I'll put it in the description.
It's that we've headed down a path I didn't expect to have to head down this week. Otherwise, I would have given you a link already.
Such is the way of these, I guess. Anyways,
yep.
Hope you enjoy.
Enjoy.
My next thing, well, since I finished with that thing, my next thing is 2148. You?
2148, yes.
Okay. Do you want to go first, or do you want me?
Well, no, I do want to say 2147, a red theater curtain closes on the boom scene. I was like, that is a nice way to close an act. A very nice literal way. I like that a lot.
Oh, we've gone to theaters before a lot, like mostly for musicals and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we may later say things about that. Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm gonna take over and say the 2148 because I think mine's smaller than yours first.
Okay. I don't have much to say here.
So wayward means to be ungovernable, unpredictable, and untoward. Vagabond, wanderer. I was thinking of wayward as being like a kind of just a lost person, like literally lost or something. So seeing it as being like ungovernable and other such, I was like, oh, neat kind of thing. Yeah, that was
forward, backward. I get my own wayward. That's the direction they move in. Anyway, I don't really have anything to say here. I was just like, there's a Skynet logo on the desk. Okay. Yeah, mostly I have 2149.
I got 2150. You first.
Hey. 2149. The entries are out of order. It says 411, Chaos Demon, Winnie the Pooh 2. 410, Sanctuary Remix posts their game pack. Oh, sorry. This is a game pack page.
Yeah.
People are posting their walkthroughs of Esper beta. Mm-hmm. So the first one, date-wise, is on the 10th, but that's been rearranged in order for some reason. There's 2 more on the 11th, and then 413, Tentacle Therapist, Rose. Something I noted was each of the names has most of the names, there's 2 that is the same. They have a different schema on how the names are formatted. Where Rose's is, even though she's on GameFAQ, has formatted hers like she's on Pester Jump. Not everybody has. Mm-hmm. There were a couple things in Rose's walkthrough that I wanted to read. My introduction will be sparse. There will be no majestic prose blustering in the sails of a galleon as we embark on this voyage together, nor will there be any ham-fisted prose whipping its limbs under a bedsheet like a retarded ghost, for that matter. What a hypocrite. So fun. The other one was, since you're reading this, chances are you have installed this game on your computer already. If this is true, like many others, you have just participated in bringing about the end of the world. I thought, oh, holy shit, when I got that far, because she posted on the 13th. So does she know about the end of the world before the 13th and is now posting on it? Is she pulling stuff out of her ass and like, yeah, we're going to destroy the world and joking? Doesn't sound like her.
I mean, there are literally asteroids outside right now and connection there, but how is she making that connection in
right
place?
How is she saying they're bringing about the end of the world? Like, how does she know that that is happening? And I went like, oh, well, she's on the side of Cthulhu, so maybe she's in on it.
I make no comments either way.
Or, and I want to say that this is a thing, but I want to say that there's like possibly time travel involved is the other thing, but it's another one of those recursive things, like the game within a game within a game, time loops. What level of this is real? The deeper that you look, the more you get back to looking at looking at how deep this is getting. You know, you just kind of go, I wanted to, it was a dark and stormy night, and we were all gathered around the fire to tell stories. And the first story started like this. It was a dark and stormy night. We all gathered around the fire to tell stories. And the first story went like this, and so on and so forth. That's recursion. So it feels like, and maybe this is just me because I am a nut about this kind of stuff, and actually spent a good deal of time yesterday with my jaw dropped going, George Cantor might have plagiarized his entire theory of infinite numbers. Oh my God. Or at least part of it.
Okay.
So one of the dudes that was getting made fun of in The Hunting of the Snark. So like back in the day of Lewis Carroll, the Reverend Charles Dodson doing math at Oxford, like nobody knew about it at the time, but one of the figureheads of early mathematics might have been going, yoink. And not only once, but twice. Same guy. I don't know how he convinced the same guy to trust him twice, but he did exactly the same thing both times. Anyway.
Side note, I'd like to grab something.
Okay. Can I go to 2150 while you're looking at stuff?
Yes.
Okay. 2115, we have the sound of heartbeats. There's we get a series of flashes of things that are happening. Silhouette of John taking a bite of the apple, so we get an answer on that question. Did he take a bite of an apple? The Colonel Sprite is with him. You get to see an interior of the dad's study with the Harlequins. You look at the living room downstairs, and the fireplace, the fire's gone out, and Nana's ashes are there. John's room, you see something with blinking eyes under the bed, and at that point, the rabbit is still in the box on 2150. The dad is stirring cake. Outside of the window goes dark. Eyes looking in the windows again. Back out on the balcony with the alchemiter, John and the Colonel Sprite. You zoom out until you see that the house is sitting on just a scrap of land. Everything else has been blown away. Below them is an empty void leading down to black mist and the sound of wind blowing.
Honestly, that kind of reminds me of a series of unfortunate events, that one house on the cliff and stuff.
Yeah.
The thing I wanted to grab is omniscient reader's viewpoint. You were talking about the roses. If you're reading this, you cause the apocalypse kind of thing. On the back of this book here, for the first one, is, if you're reading this, you will survive. And I was like, well, I wonder if this stole from that, I guess. Accidentally. I mean, there's like mentions of Lord of the Rings in here. I'm not going to say it didn't steal it, but I do think it would be interesting if it did, kind of thing.
Yeah, because there's such a weird cross-pollination between Western comics and like Asian manga and manhwa, all that other stuff. Like stuff being passed back and forth and not being recognizable, even though everybody thinks they're being blatantly obvious. Pretty much par for the course.
But just was like, oh, I must bring it forth. My pretty book. Kind of thing. Yes. Thank you. But Oh, we are 2150?
Yep.
Okay. So you were describing how the house looked and everything, and I was wondering exactly. There's a ring around the cliff that John is on. Just was wondering what exactly is that? Is that like a marker of some kind? Since we're looking at it like a game or something, is it a boundary? Maybe he's not allowed to go past this point. Um, a
remember what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
Go ahead and keep talking.
A Saturn dust ring because that's all that's left, or like it just fell from the sky, a la Wizard of Oz. Now that's just a poof that's left, and now is surrounding his house or something. Um, and I was also thinking that in general, the whole cliff itself kind of just looked like it was a water droplet, or b some kind of the beginnings of an explosion poofing up from rocks and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 2150.
I know it wasn't loading, so I had to mess with it. And now it's going to take forever to get to that point.
Rip.
Please keep talking.
I think it's just at least a little bit of a, hey, this is a cool thing, but I do think it reminds me a lot of, like I was saying, a marker, not necessarily a, hey, this is where you live, but a, here is where your character is, a boundary around them, and you move your character and the boundary follows them specifically. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Here, why don't we show the audience and stuff? Yeah. Just a circle ring around it.
Sorry, it's not the clearest, but I can try and get that later.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, that's going to be having a volume in there, but all right, we'll crop it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to even.
I mean, there's.
It looks kind of like an atom bomb in and of itself that way.
Mm-hmm.
If you kind of look at it, blurry.
The remaining bits of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's going to be some later things it reminds me of, but those aren't here yet, and I can't talk about them. And also, they aren't exact one-to-ones or anything.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
I got nothing.
My next thing, next thing is 2151.
Go for it.
So I called the whole kernel's flight splitting off into 2 bits, leaving one remaining little symbol, a mitosis kind of thing. Or in Spore, there's this cell reproduction thing of where like 2 little spore cell creatures wiggle their ways to each other, do a little dance, and then leave an egg behind and then just wander off. And I was like,
some pretty weird parenting skills there, bud.
Leaving it with John, I guess. And I was like, well, that's weird. Then I noticed also on the same page that the apple that John just took a bite out of, the apple squishes and stretches, not stretches, and has little spores coming off of it that lead into the kernel sprite before it does the whole splitting thing. And I was like, okay, maybe this really is generally part of the reproduction thing. Yeah. So hey, if you want to look at it yourself, it's 2151 for the page.
I have no conclusions there other than it's the same blue as the sky in it.
Yeah. So shenanigans.
Shenanigans, indeed.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything you wanted to say for
that? Nope.
Okay. Then my next thing is 2153. Well, I mean, I have 2152 that just says, boy!
Yeah, same thing. 2153. I mostly just noted that it was a game section with WASD controls and clicking on things. Mm-hmm. Animation is by Alexis Gankra Being Esner.
Yes. Not just the animation, the whole being able to interact and move around thing is by her. She's now known as Area Desires, also still as Gankra, but she's trans.
Oh, okay.
Uh, but anything else you wanted to say on there before I go on my non-fair?
Areas that are explorable are their balcony. Outside, the hallway, the bathroom. Dad's room is still locked. Bedroom, the rabbit now is not in the box. Stairs, living room, study. There's music playing in there. The kitchen has no dad. The laundry room, the backyard, and the house still has power, even though the wires have been cut. And there's black sludge in various places throughout the house. That's it.
Um, so we'll be seeing things later from Area or Gankra, I guess.
Mhm.
Lots of other interactable things like this. She does specific game things and stuff. Even at some points later is a, hey, I made it so you can make your own version of this yourself
Okay.
for people to mess with. And I was like, oh, neat. She also worked on the Rust program, which a program language, I mean,
Okay.
not
So I'm
the
like,
game.
that sounds familiar. Why does it sound familiar?
Yeah.
But it's not important right now.
There's also a survival game named Rust, and I was like, what? No, I don't think she worked on that.
Okay.
But she also does a lot of programming articles as well on her sites. One of them I saw that caught my eye is how C is no longer programming language, and I was like, what? Question mark. So I'm gonna have to look at that later myself. But it was like, weird. But I was like, good to know.
What is the saying? How could you say something so controversial yet so true? And my reaction is, how could you say something so what? Okay.
I will send the article to you later
Okay,
too, I
yeah.
guess. But I mostly left the game alone because I was doing it on mobile, and I can technically do things on mobile, which I was surprised about. But I was like, this is a pain. I looked up the actual game stuff itself for that. There's an Easter egg called Trickster Mode. From what I understand, you mostly just are like able to free roam with it now, kind of like if I was going to do no clipping in Gmod or whatever. Um, other such things involving that. Uh, I won't talk more about that because that has accidental spoilers for you.
Thank you.
Just was like hee hee hee. But there's also a song, I think you can play it on the piano, and it is Showtime Piano Refrain by our usual Mark Hadley. I have to double check that. I forgot to double check that actually. But I do know it was arranged by Kevin Regami, who co created a company called Power Up Audio, which.
We've talked about this before.
Okay. Damn.
ADHD strikes again. Memory.
Oh! Yeah, and you know that like he also did a speed run for Celeste. Okay,
yeah.
Damn, I already talked about that.
Yeah,
me. That's all I have on that. Yes.
Yeah. So if you're like one of those people who's like, I got to tell you something new, and it's not new, you may be neurodivergent. May not actually be like you have early onset something or other. Just ADHD sits high. Anyway.
My next thing is with 2155.
Okay, go for it.
So I said that the splotches return with a with a scene cause, assumedly scene cause. We haven't yet gotten there. But we did see like eyes appearing out from underneath the bed and stuff, and I was like, so I wonder if they caused the other splotches.
What other splotches?
Like
the ones in the house.
Yeah, in the house. Earlier I was noting, hey, why is there a gray goo thing on the wall here, kind of stuff, or why is this on books, kind of thing.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, so yay! Question has been solved, or at least we're going to assume it's been solved.
It's a reasonable assumption until proven otherwise. Okay. Sometimes that's what you do.
Yes. That was what I had to note on that. My next thing is 2157 of he towel.
Yeah, 2156. The black stuff is petroleum-based sludge. Somebody says, or like that's in the narration thing in the bottom. As John is talking to Tentacle Therapist, she says, I don't, she doesn't know where he is, but it must have saved him from the impact. There have been lots of meteor collisions. John was the biggest so far. And then he has to harass him, but she wishes him a happy birthday. Mm-hmm. And I'll talk about that more later because I wanted to connect some things together. So I moved it all to the end.
Then
2157, the towel from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, obviously.
Was already previously mentioned once, and now it returns this time.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, my next thing, 2158.
Nope, you got it.
That chest is still on the house through all of this, even through an asteroid coming, like transported into a whole nother world. That chest is still on the house.
Yep. Got it.
Yes. My next thing is 2161.
Go for
it. So this is where I saw the whole recycling grist thing that I was mentioning to you before.
Okay.
Yeah. Rose deletes the perfectly generic cubes and stuff. And while she's recycling those, her cursor disappears at the same time in the giant blue splurch kind of thing. Magical, woo! And I was like, did it seriously just delete her cursor at the same time? Jesus, if this was a game, that would be such a big bug and so annoying to deal with. Oh my god.
Game designer. Okay, yeah, I see it. Blurp.
Blip. It's gone.
It's gone.
Like it leaves a little trash can still in there, but everything else that was in that little slot is gone.
Yep.
Cubes and cursor.
Yep.
It's a bug.
Or something. What you got next?
2161.
At 2161, I just noted that John can't recycle grist, but his player Rose can.
I was talking about the giant plank that she erects, and I was like, so here's one of the architect's nightmares here for trying to walk this giant plank that's unsupported completely over a giant pit. There's nothing there. John would be dead. I refuse to believe that he would survive on that in a normal life.
Sit down. Well, I refuse to believe he survives without splinters. Sit down, put your legs on either side, sweep forward. Although, if it's wood,
exactly.
Boing.
We hope it's concrete or something. So I was yelling about that. Yeah. I was like, if I might as well be yelling about fireplaces, might as well yell about this.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, my next thing is 2164.
Go for it.
The instructor who has been calling John boy and all that kind of stuff is trying to instruct John to go across the plank and stuff at a full running pace. And John is like, no, I like to live, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, hey, this is the return of, in Problem Sleuth, the whole eating the candy corn thing. The characters are taking their own choices on the actions again against the instructor's
Is
commands.
it free will, or is it scripted by the game developer to look like free will because they're too much of a smartass and they want to save from having to animate?
Yes. Or like when you're playing an actual point and click game and they're like, no, I can't use that, and make some kind of snarky comments because they can't use it. Yeah.
And that was all over the walkthrough. It's like everything you clicked on, you could click on pretty much everything, but it would just come up with some snarky reason why you couldn't change anything.
So once again, it returns. My next thing is 2166.
Yep. I just noted that one of the Harlequins fell.
Yeah, me too. I called it very Lion King. All right. Enough. I've been waiting for this essay. Let's hear it.
Okay. This is writer shit. I have written down here, writer shit. Okay, so besides just wanting to know how Homestuck ends and going like, yeah, I need a buddy. I need to co-play Homestuck because I can't get through it without getting completely derailed constantly. I'm also studying this as a writer and going, oh, what techniques are you using? Whatever. And so this is a major point. It's a switch between one act and another act. And the kind of, this is a more obscure story structure thing, but the plot stuff that I use is called the 7-point plot outline. It's by a earlier generation writer named Damon Knight. And it's not a 7-point plot structure, which always comes with a picture that looks like this about ups and downs. I'm like, that never made sense to me. This one makes sense to me. The points are a character, 1, 2, in a setting, with 3, a problem, 4, tries to solve their problem, but 5, fails repeatedly until they make 6, one last big try, and definitively fails, succeeds, or sort of both, which is the climax. And then 7, the author wraps things up for everybody.
So that's what that, okay. Well, me trying to do my own fanfic and otherwise such stuff, you've given me a, hey, here's a good way to do this planning stuff before. And I have one of the things noted in there is storming the castle and kicking the pants kind of thing.
That's kind of a crossover.
Yeah.
I have also used Save the Cat, and that divides things up into 4 for a little bit more structure. And that's the first act would be setup. The second act would be fun and games, or everything you put in the setup now gets more complicated and kind of fun, and like the big movie trailer type moments. And then you have the reversal, in which, oh crap, the unintended consequences of all the setup come out. And then you have the bad guys close in the last the last 50 to 75% when everything gets worse. And then you have the last quarter is the climax, where you're like, we have a plan, and they ramp up to do the plan, and it's either storming the castle or defending the castle, basically keeping the bad guys from getting in. And then you have the wrap up at the end, the validation. So they're 2 different systems. This is the one that other people than me have validated. But there are a lot of things. There are a lot of cool tricks you can do with it in both writing and marketing that are just fun. Anyway, it gets more complicated than what I just described with the 7 points. I'll have to give you a link for that.
Yeah, I have lots of things to be adding to the description this time.
Right. But at any rate, something I've discovered that I think was intended, but I have no idea, is no matter how small you slice a story, that same 7-point pattern repeats itself. So like Act 1 has a character in a setting with a problem. He tries to solve his problem repeatedly and fails, and gets set up for one last big try, and he either succeeds, fails, or it's complicated, and then there's a wrap up. So in Act 1, John in the suburbs trying to get S-Verb installed. Does he get S-Verb installed? He does succeed, but it makes things worse. And he has another half of it to install. The server side, he's got all kinds of problems that it doesn't just stay with one problem. It all gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and more complicated and complicated and complicated. And the last big try is, can he get whatever it is he's supposed to be doing with this game done before the meteor hits? And the answer is, we're not going to tell you. At the end of Act 1, you don't find out whether or not he bites the apple. Act 1 happens, the red curtain closes, that's the end. So you're kind of left hanging there. And the opening of Act 2 answers those questions. Did he bite the apple? Yes. He's shown in silhouette apple with a hole out of it. The kernel sprite does its thing. So now once we answer that question, we end up doing things like, okay, so character setting problem, that whole sequence with the mini game in it where you can WASD through stuff, that walks you around the setting. Like, how has the setting changed from Act 1 to Act 2? The character is still John, but here's what's changed. Like, where's the dad? Where's the bunny? Why are there black splotches over everything? So you're getting a lot of questions. So you get the end of Act 1 is, did John bite the apple or not? The beginning of Act 2 is, yes, he bit it, but here's more things to worry about. So it's like there's a cliffhanger there, but there's the other side of the cliffhanger, which is we're going to answer that cliffhanger and then give you more questions so that you're still hooked. Yep. So I thought that was cool because I'm used to the end of a chapter and act. Okay, you build a cliffhanger in it, but you don't immediately answer those questions. And you don't, once you answer those questions, obviously you don't give more questions because you don't know the answer to the initial big question. So I thought that was really interesting because I looked at it and I said, I shouldn't be hooked, but I still am. Why am I still hooked? I got my question answered. He took the bite out of the apple. But it was very neatly, professionally managed to go, and here are the other questions that you need so that there's not really a gap between being tense about the one thing, getting relief about that tension, and being tense about the next thing. That was very cool. I liked it. And I think, too, one of the weird things that helped was Rose giving the game walkthrough stuff. Because that's the one thing that happens before you find out whether or not John bit the apple. So there's enough of a hook there to go, wait, what does she know? And then you get to the apple. So you have a little bit of a question there, enough to go, something's not right here, even if you're not fully aware of the question of whether or not Rose is involved. But then the bite of the apple happens and then more questions. So it's like there's never a panel where you go, okay, I can leave. And I thought that was
great. Homestuck continued to be hooking many people for 7-ish years for a reason.
Yep. I think one of the things that they didn't hear on purpose was having John demand that Rose give him a happy birthday, because that's a character moment for both of them. So you're like, oh, yeah, I remember who these people are. I'm talking to people, and they're not just puppets. They're like, we're stopping the action. The end of the world might have happened, but fuck that. I need to know that you still think I'm cool enough for happy birthday. I think you're cooler than that, and I didn't want to screw it up. I'm very sorry. Happy birthday. Or maybe she's lying. Maybe this was the birthday present. Let's get you out of the suburbs. Woo! Who knows?
Happy birthday, John. You get to live.
Anyway, picking up the towel thing, I forgot to note that. Arthur Dent in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Arthur Dent gets told by Ford, the alien character, to keep his towel with him right before he gets hitchhiked onto the Bogan constructor ship and taken off the planet after the destruction of the Earth. Yes. So it was like great timing for that. So sweet. Okay, that was it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything neat to say on my side. I'm like, hee, enjoying hanging out with you for this.
I really like the game designer stuff. So more of that, please, would be good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, mostly just right now being like, that cursor, man.
I didn't even notice it.
You didn't notice the swirling knee either.
I didn't. I did not. There's lots of stuff you brought up that I was like, I'll talk about that later. Like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, I'm just hanging out with you and having fun.
Good. All right. I think we're done for today.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless we want to like go off and steal you away for Ecto Cooler, but you know.
All right. I'm not making it now.
Yeah.
All right.
Fine. All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Later.